So, I want to say good morning. What time is it? It's 6:12 a.m. And I am driving to work. So, I always feel bad for those who are in podcast land because when they hear this sound, like I don't know how to edit out the fact that I'm driving. So it's probably irritating, but it is what it is. But I was driving this morning and, I was thinking about a conversation I had recently on another live stream I had. And it made me think about the lack of honesty out here in these streets, especially social media. Now, much of this isn't like new, but let me just I just want to put my little bit of spin on it. Before I get into this, let me just introduce myself. For those of you who don't know who I am or you're new to my channel, I'm the Black Opinionated Woman, also known as B.O.W. So I just yip and yap about things that I want to talk about. Why? Because it's my channel. It's my safe space. So this is a great opportunity right now, in this very moment, for you to hit the like button, because I'm going to tell you, you're going to like what I have to say, because I'm amazing in every way, and I can practically do no wrong. And then you can go ahead and subscribe. So, but let me get back into it. I was thinking about a conversation I had on a live. And I was thinking about how, as a middle-aged person, I just don't feel like we are being transparent and honest and vulnerable. I was recently talking about Black women friendships, or just friendships in general among women. And I'm like, there's no room for vulnerability. But I also want to take it a step further. I feel like with middle-aged women, my generation in particular, we have not done a good job of mentoring those who are behind us, the younger people. I am so sorry. My nose and my throat are itchy. I didn't take my allergy meds. I'll take that as soon as I get to work. I feel like we have done a horrible job because we have been brought up under this me mentality. Like, we're less communal. Like, we don't have a lot of community these days. We may be in a community, but we don't act like it. And where am I going with this? We are not sharing honest feelings and emotions and experiences. I think about how everyone right now seems to be on this self-help, mental health, trying to be positive. And I get it. So we're all kind of like, yes, honey, all of that, like, I'm blessed and highly favored and all that other stuff, right? But we're not actually being really honest. We're not out here saying, you know what? I am sad today. For whatever reasons. Maybe because I feel like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders. I don't feel secure in XYZ. Or, you know what, I'm experiencing imposter syndrome. Now, for those of you who don't know what imposter syndrome is, it's when you don't feel like you belong in certain spaces and you start to doubt yourself, and you feel like, it's kind of like when I first started out here in social media. What happened was I podcasted first. I was like, I'm not getting on camera, because all these women do is put on all their wigs and their lashes and all their makeup. And it's not that I don't think I'm a nice looking lady, but what I'm saying was I did not want to have to show up that hard on camera, right? So what happened was I started off as a podcaster, but then a buddy of mine kept saying, no, you need to be on camera. They need to see you. They want to see your face or facial expressions. And you're a funny person too. People need to see you and they need to hear you. So when I first started on YouTube, I felt so dumb. I didn't know how to speak into the camera. Like, you think you can just turn on a camera and just speak, right? And that's what you're supposed to start doing in the beginning. But then you realize, like, holy cow. Like, it's easy, but it's not. And it takes some time getting comfortable in whatever your speaking voice is, right? Of sharing yourself. And I felt like I don't belong out here in these streets. But it took some time for me to say, you know what, I am exactly where I belong, right? Because there's a lot of people who are my age who are not represented. Not only that, there's not enough content out there from people my age so that the generation behind us can have something to aspire to. Now, we know that it is really difficult to, I don't even want to compete with young people. I feel like they got it. They are successful, they're entertaining and innovative and creative and all that good stuff. And so I like watching them do these like amazing things and succeed. Like I really do. It's actually really nice. But on the flip side, you want to be able to be a representative of what does middle age look like too, right? You don't have to be beat down. You don't have to be all these things. But you want to be able to be honest and say, hey, you know what? I'm feeling this way, and letting people know that, like, hey, I know I've been where you've been. I've been where you've been, right? So I just feel like people aren't being honest out here. They're not saying things like, I love my children, but I hate being a parent. Because, see, that's exactly where I am right now. I am all the way in my feelings about raising these kids. I love my children. Okay, I do a lot for my kids. But I think that they're trying to put me in an early grave. I mean, I say that with a couple of hee-haws behind it, but I'm actually kind of serious. Meaning, it is stressful raising kids. You're constantly repeating yourself. You're trying to ensure that your children have opportunities. Sometimes they appreciate things, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you look at them and you're like, are you slow? I mean, like, what is going on, you know? There's a lot that goes into it. And when you're parenting now, I'm going to just put on the parenting hat for a second. If you're trying to do it right, it is exhausting and it is thankless. And you start to doubt, okay? What you'll see is that a lot of people will put out there, or look at my amazing children, they're perfect in every way, they can do no wrong, because parents are scared to be honest because it's a reflection of their parenting, right? But the fact of the matter is, a lot of parents are going through the same things. We're not being honest. We're not having those kinds of conversations. Like, you know, the silly things that some of my kids do. I'm like, what about that was a good decision? You just let me know. Where I'm going with this is, we're not honest. Everyone's got their face on, their mask. They're presenting their representative. And instead of being honest, and I'm not saying give all your information, because I just did a video on, look, stop telling all your business, right? Like, I don't need to know everything. But in the same token, you can still have honest conversations, and we're not really doing that. We're not talking about the things that make us feel insecure. We're not talking about what makes us feel sad. What gives us, you know, what makes us have like a pregnant pause to be concerned about something. What's making us scared, right? We're not talking about any of those things. No one's talking. No one's being honest. We're just sitting here trying to pretend like everything is normal, and it's not. We're not talking about the fact that, you know, people are scared of going into the recession or whatever. All I'm saying is we're not being honest. We're not being honest about friendships, relationships, raising children, finances, education, health. We're not being honest. What we're doing is we're focusing on tearing down other people in order to make ourselves feel better. Well, at least I'm not like them, right? That's what I'm saying. We're not being honest. I think if we spend a lot more time focusing on ourselves, you know, I don't know. I just feel like those are the kind of conversations that need to be had. I think just recently, I think in one of the, it was a previous live stream, I think I brought up the conversation about colorism. I think it's important. But you don't want to, I don't want to talk about it from the standpoint of like, woe is me for everybody and everything, because like everybody has a perspective. What I don't want to do is downplay a group of people also, right? So you got people who are on the negative side of colorism, and then you've got people who benefited from colorism who also had some experiences. Now, I'm not going to equate them and say they're the same, okay? Because that would be ridiculous, right? But what I will say is, because there are people who have been negatively impacted from colorism, it's hard to hear other people when they say like these are the other effects, these are some of the things that how they've experienced. People who, it sounds ridiculous what I'm saying. I don't even know how to say this eloquently. Sorry, they made some changes here on this road pattern here, so I'm trying to pay attention. What I'm saying is, you have the people who knowingly and unknowingly have supported those types of things, like anything related to colorism, and when there have been backlash, understanding that backlash, what does that mean? Because there's an awakening that starts to happen at some point too. And I don't want anyone to think that I'm conflating and making it. I don't want people to think that I'm saying that those who may have been the perpetrator of it or who have benefited from it have just as bad experiences as those who have oh geez, what the heck is that, who've had negatively impact, who've been negatively impacted from it. Geez, I can't get it out. This is why you know I need my coffee. Anyway, what I'm saying is we need to have more of these conversations. I think the conversations need to be centered around like, okay, how has this impacted the community, and what are the solutions moving forward? I want to talk about, I don't know, philosophies on raising children, right? Like, I don't always get it right. I don't. Just the other day, I was yelling at my oldest, and he made me so angry that I just went off and just set it off. Like, I was like, bleep, 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 bleep. I just set it off. And then I felt bad because I was like, okay, that probably was more harmful than helpful, right? So then you start to feel bad as a parent, like, well, that's not helpful. I don't know. Getting back to where I was going with this, I don't believe we're having honest conversations. What we're doing is either deflecting and talking about things. I'm not saying they don't matter, but they kind of don't matter, right? We're talking about other people. We're engaging in tear down culture. That's what we do now. And we take pride in shading and reading people and dragging people. I need to link that in this video. I need to link that in my, I think I did a shade, read, drag video several months back. And tear down culture. I might put both of those in there. But yeah, that's what we do. We take pride in tearing down people. We tear down the community. We take pride. If you I do watch some of the Housewives, not all of them because I'm not that interested. But we'll get on these shows, or we'll watch these shows, and we love watching them. Like, yeah, I want you to come for her. I'm like, it's disgusting. It's like we want to bring people down so bad to the place where we are. Maybe we need to spend more time being honest about why we feel so bad. Why are we in that space, and how do we get out of that space? All right. I should probably concentrate out here in these streets. Anyway, we need more honest conversations. We need to, I think, look, let me just say this. Those conversations are necessary because we've got a bunch of young women and young men out here who are trying to figure it out. And there's no guidance. There's no one telling them things like, hey, in another 10 or 15 years, the things that you think are important now are not going to mean anything, because certain things you're gonna shift to maybe more of a financial or physical. Maybe you're going to be thinking about, like, how do I put in place good, healthy eating habits? I don't know, because the body doesn't burn through it as naturally anymore. Or, like, how your vacation time is so important for your mental health, recharging the body. We don't talk about, I hate to sound so corny, but we don't talk about the things like how you really do go to bed earlier as you get older because you recognize, like, I can't hang the way I used to. And there's a reason why. There's so many things we don't talk about. We don't talk about the importance of financial planning. Heck, you know how many people in our community, oh my goodness, who don't know the difference between a trust and a will. There are people who don't even have a will, let alone a trust, but at least get a will. And we don't know the difference. We should be having those kinds of conversations. We've got a lot of young people out here wanting to do some great things. Very just like creative and imaginative young people. And we don't have conversations on like wills and trusts. We don't have conversations on what does it mean when we talk about income. We're not being honest on how some of us have accumulated, right? People will say, oh, I want to be like you. I'm like, there were things that we had to do. We didn't have this overnight. We're not being honest. We're out here in these streets just clowning. But anyway, that's it. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button because I'm amazing. Go ahead and share it with some people. Go watch all my videos, every single last one of them. Just binge watch them. Take a day off from work. Go binge watch all my videos. And then go share everything with people. Leave a comment. How about that? Leave a comment. And that's pretty much it. I need to take some allergy medicine because, yeah. All right. So look, have a good one. Black Opinionated woman.